If she should not give it up, she also becomes one who is defeated. Welcome back. This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 158, Tipiṭaka, part 91, in which we will continue with the Bhikkhunivibhaṅga Pārājika with Pārājika 3. If this is your first time seeing me, you may wish to click right up here and start with the beginning of the Tipiṭaka playlist with Pārājika 1. Now that was Pārājika 1 from the Mahavibhaṅga. We went through the entire Mahavibhaṅga and finished it, and now we are on the Bhikkhunivibhaṅga. And we started with Pārājika 1 of Bhikkhunivibhaṅga 2 episodes ago. And now we're on Pārājika 3. Apparently there's 8 Pārājika for nuns. There were only 4 for monks. Our special guest today, Vasudhara. I thought it appropriate. It's been a little while since she's been a guest. She is a Vajrayana, we haven't used this in a little while. She is a Vajrayana Buddhist wealth goddess. The story goes that someone was having financial difficulties and found Lord Buddha, the original, the one and only, formerly Siddhartha Gautama, Shakyamuni Buddha, sitting, meditating in the wilderness, and asked him for help, and Lord Buddha gave him a chant to call upon the Vajrayana Buddhist wealth goddess. So if that sounds a little odd, since Vajrayana came long after Lord Buddha, that's okay. That's how a lot of this is written, and we'll just go with the flow when we get to Vajrayana. I remember seeing someone had posted, and I thought it was a very, and I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. But someone had posted an image that had Wonder Woman on one side and I think like Supergirl or something like that on the other side, and in the center was Yeshe Tsogyal. And it was something like Yeshe Tsogyal has been inspiring young women in much the same way as Wonder Woman and Supergirl has, but she's been doing it for 1,300 years. And I saw the post and I was like, hey, that's a nice post. And then someone commented, whoever put this image together should be ashamed of themselves. How dare you put, someone so sacred on the same level as comic book characters. I can understand perhaps where they were coming from. They were coming from a position of not giving enough respect to comic book characters. That's just an opinion. We all have them. Perhaps I'm wrong. Comment below. So she is a wealth goddess. She is the said to be the consort of Jambala. And she, of course, is here with the Tibetan national flag, which you might notice is not one of the options of flags on the emojis, the list of flags. So hashtag bring back the Tibetan flag on the emojis, right? Well, I'll get started momentarily, but first I just wanted to mention, it just popped in there, that if you're interested, I had a conversation with my friend Ryan in Korea on the subject of the Shramana movements that started in around the 8th century before Common Era, and the most, sort of famous time of that was the 6th century before Common Era, when folks like Mahavir, were teaching and active, as well as Lord Buddha. So these are the rules for Buddhist nuns. Right, yeah, like them, but those were Vajrayana nuns in Bhutan, and I'm not sure how many of these old school rules carry over through the centuries to Vajrayana, but yeah, that's kind of the right idea. But these are the rules for nuns that were established by Lord Buddha and written down within a couple hundred years after they were established. So they're pretty well, they're as close as we're going to get to verbatim how things went down, basically. This is the Tipiṭaka. You might be saying, why is he saying Tripitaka in such a strange way? Tripitaka is the Sanskrit word for the Tipiṭaka. Tipiṭaka is the original Pali language. So let's bring it back to the pre-sectarian early Buddhism, and I'll go ahead and start with today's recital, shall we? At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, the nun Tulananda imitated the monk Arita, who had formerly been a vulture trainer. I remember that. And who was suspended by a complete order. Those who were modest monks, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the lady Tulananda imitate the monk suspended by a complete order? Quote, it is true, Lord. End quote. So presumably within the quotes are modest nuns spread it about, told the monks, modest monks spread it about, and then they told the Lord. The Lord went before the monks at the assembly and said, is it true that the lady Tulananda was imitating the monk who was the vulture trainer? And they replied, it is true, Lord. All right. That's a lot to put in 3 dots, my humble opinion. Okay, anyway. The Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, how, monks, can the nun Tulananda imitate the monk suspended by a complete order? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, yet, and pleased. 3 dots. And thus, monks, let the nuns set forth this rule of training. Whatever nun should imitate him, a monk suspended by a complete order, one who is disrespectful towards, who does not make amends towards, one who is unfriendly towards the rule, the discipline, the teacher's instruction, that nun should be spoken to thus by the nuns. Quote within quotes, lady. This monk, suspended by a complete order, is disrespectful towards, he does not make amends towards, he is unfriendly towards the rule, the discipline, the teacher's instruction. Do not imitate this monk, lady, end quote. And if this nun being spoken to thus by these nuns should persist as before, that nun should be admonished by the nuns up to the 3rd time for giving up this course, end parentheses. If, being admonished up to the 3rd time, she should give it up, that is good. But if she should not give it up, she also becomes one who is defeated. She is not in communion. She is an imitator of one who is suspended. End quote. Whatever means 3 dots. None means 3 dots. Complete order means belonging to the same communion, staying within the same boundary. Suspended means suspended for not seeing or for not making amends for or for not giving up an offense. Towards the rule, the discipline means. Toward whatever is the rule, whatever is the discipline. Towards the teacher's instruction means. Towards the conqueror's instruction, conqueror of, desire. Towards the Enlightened One's instruction, the Enlightened One. Disrespectful means He does not heed an order or a group or an individual or a parentheses formal and parentheses act. Does not make amends towards. He is suspended, not restored. Unfriendly towards means monks belonging to the same communion are called friends. He who is not together with these is therefore called unfriendly. Should imitate him means if he becomes one of such views, of such indulgence, of such pleasures, she too becomes one of those views, of that indulgence, of those pleasures. That nun means whatever nun is an imitator of one who is suspended. By the nuns means by other nuns. These see, these hear. She should be told by these saying, quote within quotes, lady, this monk suspended by a complete order, 3 dots. Do not imitate this monk, lady, and quote within quotes. A second time, she should be told 3 dots. And a third time, she should be told 3 dots. If she gives it up, that is good. If she does not give it up, there is an offensive wrongdoing. If, having heard, they do not speak, there is an offensive wrongdoing. That nun, having been pulled into the midst of the order, should be told, quote within quotes, lady, this monk suspended by a complete order, 3 dots. Do not imitate this monk, lady, and quote within quotes. And a second time, 3 dots. And a third time, she should be told 3 dots. If she gives it up, that is good. If she does not give it up, there is an offensive wrongdoing. That nun should be admonished, and thus monks, she should be admonished. The order should be informed by an experienced, competent nun, saying, quote within quotes, let the order listen to me. This nun so-and-so imitated a monk suspended by a complete order, one who is disrespectful towards, who does not make amends towards, who is unfriendly towards the rule, the discipline, the teacher's instruction. She does not give up this course. If it seems right to the order, let the order admonish the nun so-and-so, in order that she may give up this course. This is the motion. Ladies, let the order listen to me. This nun so-and-so, 3 dots. She does not give up this course. The order admonishes the nun so-and-so in order that she may give up this course. If the admonishing of the nun so-and-so in order that she may give up this course is pleasing to the ladies, let them be silent. If it is not pleasing, then you should speak. A second time I speak forth this matter, 3 dots. And a third time I speak forth this matter, 3 dots. The nun so-and-so is admonished by the order for giving up this course. You mean for not giving up this course? It is pleasing to the order, 3 dots, so do I understand this. As a result of the motion, there is an offensive wrongdoing. As a result of 2 proclamations, there are grave offenses. At the end of the proclamations, there is an offense involving defeat. She also means she is so called in reference to the former. She becomes one who is defeated means, as a flat stone broken in half cannot be put together again, so a nun being admonished up to the 3rd time, not giving it up, becomes one who is not a, parentheses, true, and parentheses, recluse, not a daughter of the Sakyans. Therefore she is called, she becomes one who is defeated. Not in communion means, communion, 3 dots, is therefore called not in communion. Next time we'll fill that in. We'll fill a few of those in from the first Pārājika. If she thinks that it is a legally valid act when it is a legally valid act, parentheses, and parentheses, does not give it up, there is an offense involving defeat. If she is in doubt as to whether it is a legally valid act, parentheses, and parentheses, does not give it up, there is an offense involving defeat. If she thinks that it is not a legally valid act when it is a legally valid act, parentheses, and parentheses, does not give it up, there is an offense involving defeat. If she thinks that it is a legally valid act when it is not a legally valid act, there is an offense of wrongdoing. Okay. If she is in doubt as to whether it is not a legally valid act, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If she thinks that it is not a legally valid act when it is not a legally valid act, there is an offense of wrongdoing. There is no offense if she is not admonished, if she gives it up, if she is mad, if she is the first wrongdoer. Told is the third offense involving defeat. Okay, a few thoughts about that. Firstly, I'm going to rely on future Edward the editor, right? Editor Edward, hi. To go back and find the vulture trainer and give us a little synopsis of what he did. Certainly. It comes from Pakitiya 68. A pernicious view had arisen to a monk named Arita. Our common ancestor here will be playing the role of Arita, who had formerly been a vulture trainer. Like this, quote, so this is Arita's pernicious view. Insofar as I understand Dhamma, taught by the Lord, it is that in following those things called stumbling blocks by the Lord, there is no stumbling block at all. Okay, now you know, and future me knows, but I'm still a little confused, but it's all right. So I find it interesting that she's being thrown out for imitating a monk who was not thrown out. That monk is suspended, and he, at any time, even after years, can come back and say, you know what, I've had a chance to think about it, and you guys were right, and I apologize, and I won't do it anymore, and then they welcome him back in. But the nun who imitates him gets cast out. A little bit of a double standard. I have to say, I don't like that. But again, I'm in 2023, and they were in 6th century BC, and even if we go back 50, 60 years, there were plenty of double standards that were taken for granted in my home state and country, and around the world, there's plenty of double standards today, and I don't like them either, but that's what that is. This has nothing or very little to do with the core message of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. This is just an observation about the administration of the original order. And so there's that. There's also the assumption that the nun would not come up with the misbehavior on her own. What if she was doing the thing that the vulture trainer got kicked out for, but she was not imitating a monk? Maybe that'll be clarified in future rules, but somehow I doubt it. So it's assumed that by misbehaving and having this particular attitude that she must be imitating one of the monks. Little odd. What else? I guess those are my thoughts. So we're learning something new every day. Some of the rules I find myself going, I agree with this rule, or ha, that was a fun story. And others of the rules, I find myself thinking, yeah, I don't like the sexism, chauvinism, and so on that was taken for granted in 6th century BC, or in the early 1960s, or any time in between or before. Or since. And that's just kind of how it is. So I hope you learned something today. I hope on some level you enjoyed today's recital and episode. Special thanks to Vasudhara for tolerating us, men throughout history, I suppose. And do please, grant your wealth and prosperity to whoever is watching this right now. And me too, also me. I will go ahead and close with the usual closing for these episodes, and I hope everyone's doing well out there. Okay. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.